louder, harder, better? Is louder really better? Today I'm going to take you into the world of translating your sound onto a bigger sound system. I guess that's today's video. Let's go do it right now. Hey, what's up, I'm Melodic Kitchen, and thank you for checking out yet another video. If this is your first time here, don't hesitate to click subscribe, hit that notification bell. Whenever I upload a new video, you'll be kept in the loop and you won't miss out on anything. And thank you. 10K subscribers. What? 10K subscribers. Unbelievable. I couldn't have done that without you. I mean, thank you. I mean, it's been a journey, it's been a ride. I did not think that that was going to just like happen as fast as it did. So thank you very much. If you haven't subscribed, go do it right now. Hang out to the end of this video. I'll tell you all about Discord, tell you about Patreon, tell you how you can get in touch, how we can make some music together. And I'll tell you all about the vibe and the community that we've been building. Is louder, harder, better? This video came from discussions that I had with a few people talking about, listen, I do a lot of stuff on my headphone, I do a lot of stuff in my bedroom, I do a lot of stuff like in smaller parties. How does that relate to a bigger sound system? Now, that's a very valid question, because when I started out, the one mistake that I made was to think that whatever I heard on my headphone or in my studio, and I did have decent speakers at the time, it was okay. Still, when you get to a venue, when your bass drum is this small on your headphone, it's this large, so everything changes. There are a few ways how to go about it. Now what I'll do is I'll run you through a set that I am preparing, and I thought, hey, that's a cool thing to actually think about right now, because all the choices that I make and the sounds that are going to be embedded in this track are there for a reason. And in my mind, it's something that I just pass by very quickly, but it's something that if you come to think of it, yeah, it's something that is a valid, mandatory thing to think about. Every sound that I choose is being produced or being shaped to serve that bigger purpose on a bigger sound system. So you can imagine that you now have a lot of power you need to master the sword in order to wield it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take you through that process. If you're ready, let's go. The thing to work first is the kick drum. The kick drum is the most important thing. Listen to this kick that I've got right here. Kick is coming from track 1 on the octave track. The octave track is taking care of my drums. There's a few tracks dedicated to drums. There's one track dedicated as the master, so everything goes through the octave track. There's one track dedicated as a true machine. So it means that I've got all the sounds condensed to go into the octave track. First, let's explain what we have right here. There is from Z left to Z right, I've got the Behringer 802 mixer. There's a mini tower, there's a tetra, then there is a subsequent 37. There's a blue sky reverb, there's a space echo, then there is the octave track, and then there's the Akai MPC Live. I've got like the L12 live track sitting right here, which works. Noise, yeah, which works, yeah, only need to make sure. There is a Roland VP9000, a Variphrase processor right here, and there is a Kurzweil K2000R sitting underneath, because I'm sampling sounds into my octave track. Why am I doing that? Because when I wire stuff up to the MPC Live, taking care of the MIDI, the problem with me at least is that I keep playing and keep playing and keep playing stuff, and at the end of the day I don't think I should be composing stuff, I should be producing certain things when it comes to dance music. So every sound or song serves a purpose, but when it comes to techno music, the way I would like to do it, it's, yeah, I would like certain sounds to just like do more of a rhythmical sense than a musical sense, and the two need to go hand in hand. Hence my using the octave track, because the step programming on this machine reminds me a lot of how the 909 drum computer works. And I love the fact that I can actually just like do it. So when I go to my kick drum, for instance, if you were to say, hit the record button, and when it's red, you'll see all your different tricks right here. So on the 1, the 5, the 9, and the 13, obviously that's where the kick drum is. It's very nice, so you can just play around with stuff, which is cool. Going back to what it sounds like. The kick consists of 2 dominant sounds and 1 more laid back kind of vibe. So when you listen to this kick, you'll hear the letter D, the. If you can't hear it, place your thumb on the speaker, you'll hear exactly how long, loud, or big your sound is. We'll get to this room sound in a second, but this is what I said, consisting of the D, consisting of a longer sort of like release. But when you listen to this on a bigger sort of like scale, all of a sudden the kick that is this long now is this long. So the distance between kick, hat, for instance, is going to be a completely different situation. My kick is here, the hit. I've programmed it in such a way that you can hear that whenever the kick is done, the hi-hat will play. Well, there's a bit of a tail that overlaps a little bit here. That's what I got going on my hat. My hat is on track number 5. Nice one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, down, bum, bum. So this is what's happening right now. Yeah. So track 5, hats. You'll hear that on the club sound system that those dynamics on where certain sounds end and where others start is different. It's different because it'll go from a small kind of condensed thing in your ear all of a sudden to this big massive thing. Don't be afraid of it though, it's cool. But you need to understand what's going on. So building your house up from the ground up, this is the kick drum consisting of the tail end, the letter D, the attack, as you can hear, and then there's a little bit of a sort of like a high sparkle on top of that, on the back of the letter D, that makes up this kick, which means that if you listen to it on the sound system, the room is going to glue everything together, but it's going to be louder. So, and because of the reverberation, your sound is longer. You need a bit of mid-range content also there. So what I will do is, I've got what I call a sort of like a wood stick on the snare, and this sort of like small piece of wood that's here on the 2 and the 4 and the 2 and the 2, 3, 4. It does something with that higher end content which is sitting on top of the kick. If you were to look at a graphic equalizer, I think you would find that content around, say, maybe the between 1 and 3K. When you boost that up on your kick, you'll hear that content go up and be a little bit brighter. I've already stuck it on my kick drum, because if you compress a kick, this is how you would notice if you over compress your kick as well. So it's a cool thing to have on top of the kick, and it does something. If you go too far, you'll notice it that way. There's high-end content and there's mid-range content, high mid-range content, because that hat is already a little bit on the loud side. Chip, tap, chip, chip, tap, chip. But listen to how this works with the 909 hat. So you can see that those things also work together. That 909 hat doesn't bother anyone. It just sits there. But that's a 909 hat. That's what it does. That's why everybody's using it. Listen to Madonna Vogue, you know. Listen to Back to Life, like Soul to Soul, any old school kind of track, or any Detroit techno track. You'll understand why a 909 hat is such a powerful thing. We're moving on. So the third track is a bit of a groove. So this doesn't classify for me as a structure, a category kind of structure, but it's a very important kind of vibe because this is what you dance to. This is where it tells your crowd, this guy or girl knows what's going on. This person knows exactly how to program drums because, something needs to go in between. The kick drum is already dominant. I mean, you have to understand, we love melodic techno, we love electronic music, but we are limited. Because of the sheer size of our kick drum, it means you're already hypnotized all the time. Listen to this. That means that whenever you try to stick in between, that kick is always going to be there, so you need to work around it. So what I do is I try to get contradicting or beats or something that just does the off beat or the off groove and get that going so that everything will metabolize in a different fashion. Cool. Track 4 doesn't consist of anything, there's nothing there. On different tracks that I've got spaced out, I've got 8 little brackets here for one track, so that's the 1 pattern, 2, 2, 2, so it gradually builds up and the music will change as well. And this is my second track. So what you're listening to now is the second track that I'm actually producing for this new live set. This is the pattern 2 on the second track. If I were to put my stuff back in. Now, moving on to the music. Now that I know that this is working and I checked it on the sound, I need to think like, okay, what else do I need? I need something of a musical fashion. In the beginning I said I want to sample certain sounds so that I can play a chord, but at the same time that chord is embedded and that's that. I will not make like a Mozart kind of like composition. No, it's that sound and it does what it does, because house music to me, it's about simplicity, it's about not overthinking stuff, and I can overthink stuff sometimes. So on my track 6, the first 5 tracks on the octave track drums, track 6 is going to be some sort of a melodic content kind of thing. On different tracks is tracks 5 and 6. Track 7 is going to be the through machine, or through which this Behringer mixer is going to come in and go out of the stereo output. So essentially I only need one channel on a DJ mixer or on a mixer to just like get the sound going. Everything comes out of the octave track. The Akai at the moment, no sounds coming out of the Akai. It's only there from MIDI. Blasphemy. Anyway, so it means that the sound that I'm going to work with today is this. And I just step programmed it again. There's a few things happening. There's a lot of reverb because I want a drama. Drama is nice. I have got a structure of a sort of like song that is going to be migrating within the chords between a major and a minor chord, because I think that on big sound systems it's cool to just have that airy kind of vibe. It makes some sort of a suspense with the floor, so I love to have that kind of vibe on a big sound system. And I'm trying to make like festival tracks that really work on a big sound system, so obviously I'm going to just look at my chord structure that way. But when I'm building up the track, I need you to stay within the hamster wheel. You need to just like stay on point, do jumping jacks and do them in place. So this wow, and you can hear that there's a bit of a curve on the sound. So you can hear that it's doing something weird. I've got a few things happening as well. Let's put a kick underneath. Let's listen to it in the room. All right, so I know that's working, This you have to treat as a different layer. So when the drums are there and the different lengths on the drums are sorted, don't worry about drums anymore. When it comes to the music, different lengths do different things. You have to approach it from a different angle. So you have to look at it from a different way. This is wow, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, wow. Well, that changes because on the kick, I've got this filter so that if I'm opening up the crossfader, low end will go away. But on this sound, when I open it up, the filter will open. And you will then hear how I've equalized that reverb, so it crosses over into whatever else I'm doing. So listening to the drums. Dramatic break. What's the drama? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there you go. So it fades away. There's a small kind of reverb that just fades away and then leans on top of the 909 head. So, and there you go. So that's just moving around in the frequency, sort of like window, without you actually forcing stuff or playing stuff. It's already there. So that's, yeah, handy. Okay, moving on to the next pattern. No, not yet. Okay, so we'll stay here because the music is going to change. But I will get to that. What I've done is a trick that works on a huge sound system. If you watched my arpeggio video, go check that out. I went into how arpeggios can consist of different melodies within themselves. So if we were to listen to this, and it's funny because all the velocities are the same. I'm not going in and just like what you would do on a DAW and this needs to go. No, the accents to me with a DAW setup come from the frequencies that I'm using. How can you make sure that it works? When you work with a mini tower, I can tell you the lower notes are going to consist of much more bass than the bigger one, the higher notes. You won't hear it, but you'll hear it when I play it on the sound system. Listen what happens if I'm lowering the filter. Boom, 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 boom. It's knocking at the door. And then you know, like, that's always going to just punch people in the stomach. So this with this. Boom, 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 that, boom, boom, that, boom, that, boom, boom, that, boom. So I've now created a rock and roll kind of jack, boom, boom, gat, boom, boom. I just created that with this loop that's playing and the mini guitar that's doing that kind of subby vibe. And to throw you off, I'll just put a kick in there. And that's how you would like look at what can I do and how can I work it into this room. Yeah? Okay. Moving on with the rest of the drums. 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's this clap that plays crap. 909 clap. And that is only there because I need extra groove and I need to throw you off a little bit. So once you know, because the brain is smart, once it knows what it needs to look for and it focuses on that, it will hear it all the time. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. So this arpeggio, if I'm filtering it down and you don't hear the punching of the lower notes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it halves my beat up. What it does on the lower filters. Nice. Now, this is the same sort of pattern. 2, 3, 4. Whenever I just dance, just like the way I'm dancing right now, whenever my feet hit the floor, there's always going to be a bass note there. Boom, boom, ding, boom, boom, doom, doom, doom. So what you would want is your melody to be a little bit longer. And there you go. It's like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This creates longevity, especially on a loud sound system. Especially when the kick drum is constantly there, bam, bam, bam. This is going to be bam, 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 bam. One, 2, 3, 4. I'm not even sure that if I'm playing this, the room sound that it's going to just like come across, but believe me, I've turned up loud here. And this kind of music, it's all about the payoff. It's all about like, okay, wait a minute. If I'm waiting on you to just make a big drop, you better pay off when you hit something into the room. All right, now comes the part where I switch the sound from a housey, deep housey, say, techno kind of vibe to a more melodic techno kind of flow. So the hypnotizing music part that I've got right here is going to change from the minute I will go to a next pattern. Listen, and that's a trick. The first half of the whole sequence, my sequence consists of 8 bars. The first 4 bars are double the tempo of the last 4 bars of this sequence. Just listen, go to the next part, listen to what's happening. Then we got this. Nice, right? Music out. What I have done here, it's a very classical kind of sort of like approach. Goes from major to minor to minor to major to major and end on a minor chord. Okay, listen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, change. 2, 3, 4, change. 2, 3, 4, change. 2, 3, and back to long. 2, 3, 4, back to long. 2, 3, 4, and switch. 2, 3, and switch. 2, 3. Nice. Go back in. On my drums. 2, 3, and. And now everything that was already in that hamster wheel going, it's. You're waiting. Drama. 2, 3 on the sound. I'm gonna take turn off that sound here. Here goes the bass line. Switch 2, 3 and up and 2, 3 and there's a move. 2, 3 and there's a move. 2, 3 and there's a move. 2, 3, 4. And those 2 chords, sort of like structures, make for an almost eerie kind of mysterious kind of vibe on the sound, and I love it. That's what I do. I can play a melody on there. There is an arpeggio, obviously, that's going to be played by my good friend, the subsequent over here. Envelope generation. And this sits neatly on top of the That's how you create an infinite loop over 8 bars. 3, 4. See? And all those different ingredients do different things in different segments of the track. So, first, if you would like to just like get your head around like how is it going to work on this big sound system, just treat it for what it is. Which sounds are going to travel the longest on this big reverberation? The louder it is, the longer your sounds are. So if you choose to play with longer notes, make sure that they're either not conflicting or make sure that they're helping each other. I think that when we're listening to, let's turn this off, let's go completely crazy and listen to just the bass line here and the kick drum, yeah? I think. Listen to the sound. This I like. This loop is a very powerful loop, and it's powerful because when I turn it on, now my bass line is longer. I mean, I don't think you're going to hear it on the recording that I do for the video, but when you're in a room like this, you'll hear that the accent on the bass line is making the bass even shorter or more percussive. I can shorten it, obviously. But I like a little bit of release on the bass note and a little. Funny. Turning on that loop and listen to how it shortens the note here. because the higher frequency of the head is more dominant, so it will tell your brain, yeah, that bass line is very bouncy. So you get away with having a longer release on the minitar, because the short notes make it very sparse. It just takes away from the groove. This is, and if there's a latency problem, which sometimes happens if things go through things, then you might want to have a longer sort of like release so that you don't predominantly hear something is not starting like that on the first of the measures, which is cool because I want my live set to be alive. I don't want my live set to be like electric boogie and everything is a robot. That's not what I'm aiming for right here. I'm trying to just like make sure that it does the trick and does what it needs to do. I'm loving this, yeah? Okay, let's see how this works with this subsequent, which is playing a nice thing, but it was not supposed to display the sound that it needed to be. Subsequent going through the Strymon Blue Sky, by the way. And then on this small 802 mixer, there is one auxiliary send, and that's where the space echo is. So if I want to go a little bit more in dramatic and think like, okay, you know what? I'm going to place you down. Sometimes I don't turn this off, right? I don't turn off the subsequent, I just turn it down completely. I mean, even, I think dogs and dolphins will hear what's going on, or elephants, but we don't hear it. And as long as this minitar sound is louder, you can probably get away with sticking that arpeggio in the bottom. All right, so listen, the auxiliary on so you play around with spacing everything out, and I'll do it because this reverb is not as lush as this one, but because this is a more kind of, yeah, cooler, say more expensive kind of verb is what I would like to say. I lay this blanket on top of this blanket, like so. Turn down the auxiliary send a little bit on this minitar. And listen to how it sounds like in the room. Again. And the fun part is, when I'm making it, I'm composing the music not in the Bach, Mozart kind of fashion, as I just explained it to you, but I am composing in my mind. But when it gets to the club, now the power is there. Now those two things are harmonically nice, evenly spaced out. I don't like the reverb too much. I'll take it off a little bit and turn down the filter a little bit on the minitar. But funny enough, when I was testing it together with my tech here, I told Dennis, the fun part is I was listening to the sound in the room, but being a DJ and being performed for so many years, I can pinpoint and determine if the sound is great from the stage. Behind the speakers even better. So if I'm turning on the sound, the fun part is on my headphone it tells me, no, your minitar is way too soft. It needs to be louder because this song of this arp is very dominant. But as soon as I turn off the room sound, when it's off, you miss it directly. And this is all going to work with this sound that we have here. Pretty much that is how I set up this kind of vibe, guys. I sincerely hope that this kind of vibe is helpful. I love it. I think that this is a way to look at that kind of sound vibe. Whenever you're in the neighborhood, I'm in Holland, so come and check it out. We do events here, all about live stuff and stuff, you know, and it's not so much the performing as much as it is also the sound engineering and that kind of vibe. So yeah, that's that. Now, Discord is connected to Patreon, so if you like this vibe, you've got more questions than answers, which what's probably going to happen if you watch a lot of my videos. Get in touch, just get in touch and ask me a few things and just like see if we can, yeah, have a little bit of a bout. You won't be breaking the bank, the same as enlisting on this channel. The music's on Bandcamp. Not this new kind of music because I'm working on my new live set. I've got shows coming up, there's people booking the Analog Kitchen sound as well, so it's cool. So if you want this kind of sound on your sound system, yeah, just get in touch and let us know. Now, thank you for watching. If you made it this far into this video, you're an absolute superstar. And I'd like to say, if not anything else, I'll catch you next week on another video. Peace.